Although emerald belongs to the group of the four precious gemstones, like diamond, ruby, sapphire, and emerald, it's actually the most delicate among them. While preparing this episode, I was reading a fascinating reference book. And this episode is not about the book itself, but I'm simply using it as a reliable source, one among many others. And now, talking about the green of the spring, let me take you to the central red of fire, rubies. Fire, passion, and legacy. According to ancient legends, rubies were petrified drops of dragon's blood. So, from the very beginning, rubies have carried a sense of fiery mystic. Their intense red hue, unmatched among all of the gemstones, has captured the eyes of the collectors and many people across the centuries in different areas. In Asia, rubies have been revered for centuries. Traders along China's northern Silk Road exchanged rubies as early as 200 BC, treating them as treasures so precious that legend says Emperor Kublai Khan offered an entire city in exchange for a single large ruby. Chinese noblemen adorned their armor with rubies, believing these stones would grant protection in battle. Some even buried rubies beneath the building foundations to secure good fortune, integrating the gemstone into both their defense and daily life. Throughout history, rubies have symbolized love, passion, and commitment. Red is the color of blood, so it conveys the life itself. Now the question is how to wear rubies. Rubies are versatile and work across different moments of life. The metal choices shape their effect. Gold with ruby creates warmth and a very classic, almost royal presence. Platinum with ruby offers sharp contrast, making the red appear cleaner and also more modern. Diamonds paired with ruby add brilliance and are best suited for evening or formal settings. Cut also changes how a ruby reads. Oval and cushion cuts deepen color. Round cuts enhance sparkle. Emerald cuts feel more structured and refined, while heart shapes emphasize romance. For everyday wear, small ruby pieces add character without overpowering an outfit. A fine ruby pendant with a white shirt and denim is simple and very much intentional. Thin stacked rings or delicate chains allow personal expression, while staying pretty much polished, because subtle red details in accessories can echo stone very naturally. In professional settings, rubies should feel pretty much controlled. A slim bracelet, understated pendant, or small ring adds authority without distraction. Neutral tailoring allows ruby accents to stand out quietly. And for evening or romantic occasions, larger ruby rings or clustered designs create impact. Deep colors like black, navy, or blush allow the stone to catch light, while a red lip and a structured back complete the effect. For celebrations or weddings, rubies pair beautifully with rich fabrics like silk or velvet. Gold tone garments highlight their warmth, and layered necklaces or statement rings add elegance while respecting tradition. Rose gold softens ruby's intensity. White gold and silver sharpen the contrast. Yellow gold enhances warmth and depth. And there is even more to know, and that is about you. Personal touches like engravings or mixed vintage and modern pieces turn ruby jewelry into something lasting, not just worn but pretty much chosen by you. The stone's inner fire was said to burn so intensely that it could allegedly boil water. Greek legends spoke of rubies' warmth as powerful enough to melt wax. In Burma, now Myanmar, warriors considered rubies so potent that they embedded them in their skin to secure invincibility. Can you imagine that? Even today, Burma's rubies remain among the most prized gems in the world. Their association with power and desire makes them timeless symbols of both romance and authority. Ancient texts reference rubies frequently. In Sanskrit, the gem is called Ratnaraj or king of precious stones. In medieval Europe, nobles wore rubies to guarantee health, wealth, and success in love. So desire for this fiery gemstone has never stopped. Its glow continues to captivate those who seek passion, beauty, and the subtle power embedded in the history. But what a ruby actually is. Ruby is the red variety of corundum. Its color begins where pink sapphire ends, which is why the line between two has never been perfectly fixed. Only stones with a deep, saturated red are officially classified as rubies, but in practice, the difference can sometimes come down to taste. Rubies can lean slightly purple, and the most sought-after shade is the famous pigeon blood, a vivid red with a subtle blue undertone. Rubies have been mined for thousands of years. In a place like Sri Lanka, they were collected from the river gravels as early as the 7th century BCE and traded continuously across Asia and the Middle East. In ancient times, Burmese and Hindu miners believed pink sapphires were simply rubies that had not fully matured, showing how closely the two stones were linked in early understanding. But in their natural state, rubies often show visible grow lines or surface markings. Color can range from rich carmine red to softer pinkish red tones. One of the most distinctive forms is the star ruby. When cut as a domed cabochon, certain rubies reveal a clear six-rayed star that appears under direct light. Stones with a sharp centered star and strong color are among the rarest examples in the category. Rubies are valued not only for their beauty but also for their history. One of the most famous examples is the star ruby from Sri Lanka, weighing around 138 carats. Its appeal comes from both its intense color and its perfectly aligned star pattern. The stone was owned by Russell Reeves, an American advertising executive who carried it for years and referred to its affection as "my baby." He simply calls it "my baby." Today, it is preserved in the Smithsonian, where it remains one of the most admired rubies in the world. Historical jewelry shows how rubies have long been used in refined designs. An Edwardian nugget ring from around 1910, made in gold and platinum, features a diamond flower set over a bed of rubies framed by diamonds. Another exceptional stone is the Carmen Lucia ruby, weighing 23 carats. It is the largest faceted ruby in the US National Gem Collection and one of the finest large Burmese rubies known. The stones of the size and quality from Burma are extremely rare. For centuries, the name of ruby was used loosely for many red stones, including garnets and spinels. And so you should know that synthetic rubies also exist, but their value remains far below that of natural stones. These facts matter because rubies are not just jewelry. Each stone reflects a lot: where it came from, how it was shaped, who owned it before you. So color, clarity, and cut shows not only the appearance but the story ruby carries. Rubies, as I said, have been mined across Asia for millennia. From the river gravels of Sri Lanka to the renowned Mughal Valley in Myanmar, these stones traveled across all over the globe. A ruby's origin affects its color and saturation. Burmese rubies, especially those from Mogok, are famous for their intense pigeon blood red and are often considered the finest form of the rubies and the standard of excellence. Knowing where a ruby comes from connects the stone to centuries of craftsmanship, trade, and cultural value. About the character, I should tell you that rubies suit women with presence, pure presence. Women who are confident, expressive, and comfortable being seen, like Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor's rubies are a clear example, and the rubies she received from Richard Burton became symbols of both craftsmanship and emotion. One of the most famous ones was this one, an 8-carat Burmese ruby ring surrounded by diamonds and set in gold. And its vivid red reflected the intensity of their relationship. A woman drawn to rubies values histories and drama, but knows how to carry them with control. She may choose bold pieces, yet wears them with restraint. Ruby communicates confidence without excess, passion without chaos, and individuality grounded in tradition. So, let me tell you a bit about the stories of ruby. Some rubies are famous, not just for their color, but for the long path they have traveled through the history to reach us. One of the most striking examples is the Tamerlane ruby, a part of the British crown jewels. For centuries, it was believed to be the largest ruby in the world. Rubies and spinels look remarkably similar and share comparable hardness. The real difference lies in how they actually interact with light. Rubies split light into 2 rays, while spinels produce a single beam. This subtle distinction was unknown for centuries, which allowed the stone to be admired and passed down as a ruby without a single question. This ruby actually takes its name from Timur, the Turco-Mongol ruler who conquered Delhi in 1398, and is believed to have seized the gem during the invasion. By 1612, the stone was back in India and passed through the generations of Mughal emperors. Each ruler engraved his name onto its surface, turning the stone into a historical record of power and succession. But later, in the mid-19th century, the stone was taken to England and presented to Queen Victoria, who referred to it as one of these magnificent rubies. Even after its true identity was discovered, its importance never faded. Today, the Timur ruby remains one of the most remarkable jewels in the British Crown collection, valued for its history as much as its appearance. Another extraordinary example is Denmark's ruby parure, a complete set of royal jewelry whose story begins in 1804 at the coronation of Napoleon. To elevate the ceremony, Napoleon provided funds for his marshals to commission new jewels for their wives. Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte ordered a ruby parure for his wife Désirée Clary. At the time, they were commoners. History took an unexpected turn. Bernadotte was later chosen as heir to the Swedish throne, and Désirée became queen. In 1869, the parure entered the Danish royal family when Princess Louise received it as a wedding gift upon marrying the future King Frederick VIII of Denmark. The rubies echoed the red of Danish flag, making the gift both personal and pretty much symbolic. The centerpiece of this parure is the tiara. The rubies are lighter in tone, closer to pink than deep red, and set in halo frames. Over time, the structure of the parure evolved because originally the leaf elements were worn as hair ornaments and were only incorporated into the tiara in 1898. The set underwent restorations in 1947 and again in 2010, making it more versatile and easier to wear. Rubies are not static objects. They change context while retaining their presence. This is where rubies move from museums to real life. When women consider ruby jewelry, there is often a moment of hesitation. Not uncertainty, but awareness. Because rubies carry weight. They have presence. Choosing a ruby is not an impulsive decision. It involves taste, proportion, and confidence. Red draws attention. It communicates clarity and intensity. A ruby does not fade into the background, and that is a part of its appeal. From a visual standpoint, rubies create contrast. Against neutral colors like black, cream, navy, or beige, they immediately become the focal point. Larger stones dominate a look, while smaller pieces add precision and control. Both approaches are valid. The difference lies in intention. Cut, setting, and pairing all communicate something. That rubies suit women who are comfortable making visible choices. Not loud ones, but deliberate ones. They connect present-day style to centuries of craftsmanship without needing explanation. As you saw here, rubies hold a rare position among gemstones. They are ancient, visually powerful, and deeply established in history. So whether worn subtly or boldly, rubies remain unmistakable. They are not decorative fillers. From Mughal cores to European crowns, from private collections to museum cases, they have consistently represented strength, status, and also refinement. So wearing rubies requires attention. Few gemstones offer the same balance of intensity and elegance. It was even more valuable than gold. Can you believe that? Because jade symbolized fertility. This series was the first out of some new series dedicated to gemstones. Do not forget to come back, because the next episode will be the time for heaven. Meantime, watch the next video.